Introducing the first fighter to the cage, fighting out of the blue corner, he holds a professional record of 7 wins and 3 losses, and he weighed in at 193 pounds. Fighting out of Jackson Wink MMA, fierce fans, make some noise and welcome to the cage, Daniel, the Outsider, Stewart!
19 years into the MMA world, 13 as a pro, Daniel Stewart makes the walk for the 11th time tonight in his second meeting with Utah boxer Jarome Hatch. Jason, it's Daniel's second time in the fierce cage. What did he bring the first time against Jarome?
Super controversial decision in that last decision. Like I said, I'm not a judge. I probably would have given a slight edge to Daniel in that fight, but Jarome Hatch, he ended up getting the victory on that. No secret in this fight, Jarome wants to stand and bang. He's been bare-knuckle fighting his last 3 fights. He wants to stand and throw punches. Daniel is not going to want to feel those punches. He's going to want to try to take this fight to the ground like he did in that last fight.
An exciting night for sure. Daniel Stewart was slated to fight Aaron Thompson back in November for our last card of 2022. Instead, he fights tonight in our first card of 2023 in a rematch against Jarome Hatch. That being said, a lot to look forward to with Daniel Stewart making the walk here tonight. He made his debut back in 2009 and continues to grow every single fight as he is continuing on in his professional career. We've got his other opponent coming in right now. It is Jarome Hatch, and Jackson Hoops has got that right now.
All right, and introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he holds a professional record of 26 wins and 18 losses, and weighing in at 194.5 pounds, fighting out of Stoneman Boxing and 4-7 Training Center. Fierce fans, make some noise and welcome to the cage, Jarome the Hatchet Hatch!
I got this, yeah.
One of the busiest fighters that Utah has to offer in his first rematch since 2011. Enter Jarome Hatch. Fresh off of another bare-knuckle boxing win, Hatch makes the walk once again to face former foe in Daniel Stewart. Joel, going in there with someone who you've shared the cage with before, would you say that's a good thing or another thing you typically have to worry about?
It could go both ways, but, depending on your self-belief, I feel like going in, you should feel confident depending on how the last outcome went. I mean, you kind of already know what your opponent's game plan is going to be, right? In tough situations, they're always going to result in doing the same thing that they did previously, right? The one thing that they do know. So this rematch should be interesting to see what happens. And I'm always excited to see Jarome Hatch fight. He's always coming in here looking to bang, and we'll see if he can stuff some takedowns tonight.
Well, both of these fighters have been around for quite some time. Stewart made his amateur debut back in March of 2003. Hatch made his professional debut. He didn't have an amateur career back in March of 2007. That being said, both of these fighters have had some opportunities to see some faces more than once. In rematches, Jarome Hatch has 4 of them. He is 1-3 in his rematches. He is 1-0 in his trilogies. When it comes over to Daniel Stewart, he only has one other rematch in his career. It was Rob Gibbs in 2008 and 2009. He won both of those fights. So Daniel Stewart, 1-0 in rematches. Jarome Hatch, 1-3 in rematches, as well as 1-0 in trilogy fights. Daniel Stewart weighing in at 193 pounds. Jarome Hatch weighing in at 194.5. And Jason, they were chirping at each other a little bit the other night at weigh-ins.
It's pretty funny. Daniel actually went up to Jarome and said, thanks for signing for the rematch. And Jarome looked at him and didn't recognize him because Daniel was shaven for their first fight. And Cody and I didn't even recognize him because he's got a beard right now. But definitely when they had the face-off, they were both chirping at each other.
Between the two of these fighters, it is 36 years of MMA experience between the two of them. Daniel Stewart out of Jackson Wink MMA. Jarome Hatch out of Stoneman Boxing. The first rematch that we've had at a fierce show in quite some time, actually, Jason.
Let's see how this plays out, Blake.
Again, a controversial decision to some in their last matchup. Daniel Stewart, more of the grappler. Jarome Hatch, obviously the devastating boxer. Hatch in the black, or Hatch in the camo, I apologize. Stewart in the black.
The one thing we've seen from Hatch is, especially early on, he is very strong. Even if he gets taken down, he's got the ability to get back up. He's just got natural, raw strength. And he hits hard.
Stewart never been finished in his professional career. All 3 losses coming via decision.
Ooh, nice lead uppercut there that landed from Jarome. Looks like Stewart's already busted up a little bit underneath that right eye. Jerome's already stuffed down. Let's see, 2 takedowns now.
Big shot from Hatch.
54% of Hatch's wins coming by KO, TKO.
I actually talked to Daniel Stewart last night, and he said before he wasn't training as actively. Now he's down at Jackson Wink. He's putting in the time. He's pretty much a full-time fighter now. We'll see if he's progressed from his last fight with Jarome Hatch. Big shots from Hatch.
Straight.
Stewart does not like these. I can tell you that much.
I definitely would not like those either.
No.
A big feint there by Hatch.
Kind of worried about a clash of heads that might happen.
Both leading with the head quite a bit. But Stewart finding home for that jab.
Stewart very well composed. Hatch looking for an opening.
Some nice head movement showcased there by Jarome. And a jab to return as well.
Joel, you're a fighter. I know you haven't fought in bare knuckle inside of a cage or probably on the streets, but what's the difference with having the gloves on? Jarome fighting his last few fights, bare knuckle, and now coming back in the cage. What do you think the difference is for him?
You know, probably not too much. Obviously, fighting is fighting. Probably, you know, his hands aren't going to be getting busted up like in bare knuckle would be.
I actually don't see you as a street fighter, Joel Haro.
You know, I've gotten in, let's see, 5, not necessarily street fights, but I guess fights in high school.
Daniel just landed a nice 1-2 on Jarome Hatch.
A little bit of blood coming from the bottom of the right eye of Daniel Stewart.
That left straight's finding a home for Jarome Hatch.
Big shots from Hatch.
Going to town is Hatch there. Teed off just a little bit, separated once again, but Jarome returns one once again in the center of the cage. A big swinging left as well. Hatch landing at will here early in round number 1. And I do want to mention, he nearly finished Daniel Stewart in that 3rd round back in April of last year, Jason. If you remember late, he started finding a home for a lot of his striking.
He did.
And almost finished Daniel Stewart.
You know, when Jarome Hatch lands, he's usually hurting his opponents. Daniel taking the shots very well. And Daniel's, you'll notice with Jarome Hatch, he throws kind of those.
Oh! Puts him to sleep with one punch.
Out like a light.
Out cold.
Shane Stoneman gets it done in the first round.
Wow. Are you kidding me? I was just getting ready to say when Jarome lands a shot, people usually go out and wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Holy cow. Let's get an instant replay on that bad boy. Coming up.
The Kush Cube replay coming up. Jarome Hatch getting it done in the very first round. His last KO win was of Zach Cavender in the first round, February 27th of 2021. We've got that replay right now.
Shots very well. And Daniel's, you'll notice with Jarome Hatch, he throws kind of those.
Puts him to sleep with one punch.
Kind of those.
Puts him.
and almost finished Daniel Stewart.
You know, when Jarome Hatch lands, he's usually hurting his opponents. Daniel taking the shots very well. And Daniel's, you'll notice with Jarome Hatch, he throws kind of those.
Oh! Puts him to sleep with one punch.
Out like a light!
Out.
He's so successful in bare knuckle boxing. Shane Stoneman stamps himself as one of the best strikers in the state.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 2 knockouts coming from Stoneman boxing.
2
Impressive.
of the biggest of the night coming from Stoneman boxing here tonight. Valiami Kulu lit up the prelims. Jarome Hatch woke up this crowd here right now.
Sure did, for sure.
Seems like Daniel Stewart is getting attended to. Back up on the stool. And Hatch going to check in on him right now. All love between the two despite all the animosity and the trash talk leading up to this fight.
Settling it here in the ring.
I don't know what is the knockout of the night, but either way it belongs
man.
to someone under Shane Stoneman, Joel.
So far.
So far. We got a couple more.
We got 3 more fights coming up, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, fighters to the middle of the cage, please. Fierce fans. Referee Dave Selyaset has called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes and 50 seconds of the very first round, declaring the winner by knockout out of the red corner, Jarome the Hatchet Hatch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Jarome Hatch. Jarome, the rematch, there was a controversial fight on the first fight. You got the split decision win. A lot of fans didn't think you won. I think you proved yourself tonight.
Yeah, no, that's what I told him last night at the weigh-ins, his face-off. I told him I ain't gonna leave it to the judges. So he said he'd stand and beg. He said, meet me in the middle. I knew he'd try to take me down a little bit, but just got to keep him standing up, ready to take the hands. Nobody can take him.
So I was listening to you and your coaches talk just right now, and you guys saw something in that first round, and he called out something for you. What was Jason telling you?
So we were sitting there, and I knew I could get him on the southpaw just because it opens up different angles. And once I started getting him, baiting him down, he said, all right, there it is, switch stances. And we switched stances and come over the top and done.
Impressive knockout. Is there any fans, any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Shit, my banner. Yeah, I got a handful of sponsors, and always looking for more. But I want to thank all you guys for coming out. You know, it really that's why we do it, right? We do it for y'all. So we do it in here and put on a show for you guys. If y'all wasn't around, we wouldn't do it. So I want to thank all my fans and the people that come out and the people that are watching across the United States, which is there's a lot of y'all. You guys have been following me a long time with the line of work I do. But first and foremost, I want to thank all you fans. And then my sponsors, I do want to thank Stoneman Boxing, you know, my training, my coach, 4-7 Jiu-Jitsu, Death or Glory Tattoo, Unlimited Steel, Workhorse Construction, No Excuse. It's a new brand that just launched for pre-workout. It's the shit. So, and then also you guys see, I got signed guys, this badass banner. It's double-sided, that way y'all can see it too. So, no, I really appreciate you guys more than anything. And thank you, Fierce, seriously, for doing it. I could sit here all night, but I'm just letting y'all know, in less than 2 months, this motherfucker's going to Dubai. So, bare knuckle, yeah.
So you told me last night, Dubai's next. What's after that? Are you going to come back into the Fierce cage? Are you going to stick with the bare knuckle? What's your plan?
You know, I ain't got many years left in me. It's an old bag of bones. Fuck yeah, Fierce will have me back. I'll be back in a heartbeat. So, y'all follow me on my Instagram, my Facebook, TikTok. Y'all see where I'm going and what I'm doing. I promise I'll be more active on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get it up to your winner, Mr. Jarome Hatch.